don't.
It's time for another episode of The Cheat Sheet. The podcast where we interview top VCE performers and deconstruct the strategies they use to achieve incredible results at school and in
Jessie,
life.
Thank you. I heard you talk about your small business, which instantly sparked my interest.
Yeah.
And obviously it's an interesting one because as a VCE student, and you know, we've got to know each other through some of the workshops I did while you were at mainstream school. And I don't know if you know that in year 11 I started my first business making gingerbread houses while studying.
Did you? I did not know that.
So, however, there's no start my own business unit 1, 2, 3, 4 at high school, is there?
Unfortunately not. No. There is business management, but that's not really, doesn't cover it.
Doesn't sort of do the trick, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Now, you've already alluded to the type of business that you're running, which is it's a videography business.
Yes, a wedding video business.
Okay, fantastic. Yep. So tell us a little bit about, for those of us that don't know the obvious, what a wedding video business does.
Yeah.
What's the scope of the business? What does it look like?
So basically, you have heard of wedding photography that generally captures the memories in the day. And basically, my business does that, but through film. And I personally love it because you can capture a lot of the memories in motion, and as they happen. I mean, it depends on the company, but our kind of take is to capture the natural moments, and so we try to be as, you know, non-intruding as possible, but we just shadow the day and wrap it all up into a nice little video bow, and people love that. Fantastic.
When did you start to figure out that video and in a natural environment and creating these, you know, really great memories for people in one of the most important occasions of their life?
Yeah.
How did you figure out that was what excited you and what you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, well, as a kid, I loved romance. I was a sucker for love, as always. And so I guess at first I wanted to do wedding planning. I did work experience in year 10 with a wedding planning business. Awesome. And I fell in love with the industry. Like the people that I was doing work experience with got to travel to honeymoon locations just to test it out for their sponsorships. I mean, that's a grand...
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's a grand business in itself. But as I continued, I also loved film, and I loved filming myself for YouTube for a while. That kind of went down the drain, but I did enjoy, I tried photography. My dad's a photographer, so I was always around cameras, but I wasn't very good at photography, and I didn't love it as much as I loved filming things and the movements that you could do, and there's a whole lot in the technical aspect that I loved at filming. So when I realized that I could put the two together, and I started to watch like love stories in these wedding films, and the way that they told a story in like 5 minutes, but they narrated it with the vows and like all these layers, I just fell in love. It was like the perfect combination. Mm-hmm. So that's where my passion came from.
Unreal. For those of you listening, you're not sitting opposite Jessie like I am. I've never seen anyone articulate themselves so well, but not only I just got taken on a journey through, you know, hand movements and gestures that showed just how passionate Jessie is about what she's doing and the sort of stuff that she's trying to create, which is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
That's all right.
Now, obviously with starting a business, it's a whole completely different foreign skill set for someone that's at school to even consider. So how did you find getting information or knowing where to start?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I think I'm a person that kind of does a lot of research before jumping in. But with that said, I then do jump in and kind of just, you know, go in the deep end and kind of figure my way out from there. And I've always loved doing that because I feel I learn the quickest, and I challenge myself in that way. And so for a while, I did a lot of research regarding the actual technical skills of a wedding video and the characteristics of that, and making sure it was what I wanted to be doing. And then with the natural skill sets of the video, I was able to kind of practice. I did Monique's 18th birthday party video. That was where I kind of realized that events was what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so with kind of putting those things together and the editing of that, I kind of used that, and then was able to figure out how the business kind of stuff complemented that. A lot of the social media kind of aspect of that is a big thing in weddings, because that's how you reach a lot of your audience. And so, yeah, I guess figuring out all the business stuff kind of came second to that. It was I had a drive for what I wanted to be doing, and I kind of set the bar up here, hoping that I would reach it and knowing what I needed to do. And I mean, it's a growing thing, and I learn new things every day. One of my saviors was, there's a YouTube channel called Wedding Film School.
Nice.
And this guy gave the rundown, and he's fantastic. He has all these, like, I don't know what they're called, Google Live or things. He answers all these questions, and you can send them in and interact with him on that. And he's been doing that the entire time that I was preparing and then starting my business, and getting advice from him, and like all the videos you could think of, whether it was talking about the editing and things, or the business and meeting with clients and how to get clients and things like that. It was my like lifesaver. It was fantastic, and so that's where a lot of my learning of the business side came from.
Yeah, technology is an absolutely amazing resource for stuff like that now. The fact that you can just Google whatever, and it magically appears, and you can become sort of an expert overnight just by reading and doing your research, which is fantastic. Facebook didn't exist, social media didn't exist when I was making gingerbread houses, so it was a lot harder. You know, the old grassroots offline,
the letterbox pamphlets.
Exactly right. It's still relevant. I did a course on the weekend that talked a lot about virtuosity and mastery of your skill or profession. And you hinted at it before, is that you focused on being really, really freaking amazing at wedding videos. And then as a result of being freaking amazing, clients came to you as a result of that. So you found that specializing in refining your trade and your skills then took care of the other aspects of business, which is taking the pressure off having to get clients, marketing, paying for things that, you know, attract those sort of people. So that's really fantastic as well. Now, going forward, you talked about, obviously, that tertiary studies was something that really motivated you. Now, I just want to touch on, obviously, that running your business is during VCE, during tertiary studies, is a challenge. It's a balancing act. But at the same time, you've identified something that really is quite interesting, from the sense of sort of indirect passion realization. So let's look at that for a second. Is that you're not doing subjects because you're madly, deeply in love with them, because there isn't a videography subject, there isn't a start your business unit 3-4. However, there is something that you want to get out of VCE, which you've clearly defined, which is making it achievable, which is get to tertiary level studies, which is really exciting. How did you make that distinction from doing a subject because you liked it? So let's say doing business management because you're passionate about learning about small, large businesses, versus doing a subject to help you get through and get your ATAR to get to tertiary.
I think part for me was the setup of doing 1-2. That can really help to lead into knowing your 3-4, and it becomes a lot easier. So I did look at doing BizMan and doing media, but because I hadn't done either of them 1-2, I knew that it would be a lot bigger load to try and learn all this new stuff for the VCAR's definition of business management and VCAR media stuff. That basically I had already done literature and mathematics, and so I was just kind of continuing that on, and I knew that would be achievable because it wasn't a part of the smaller goal there, but a part of the bigger goal.
Sure.
Yeah, nice.
And obviously doing media at a high school level doesn't necessarily make you an expert at media. We were talking before the interview that was the case. That was the opinion that we both shared, is that doing media is not necessarily going to make you a profitable business once you finish high school.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot more to do with, I feel like, hands-on and life experience plays a lot of the bigger part in starting the business aspect of it. When you do a VCE subject, I find that it is very much a set of criteria that you're trying to meet, and that might not necessarily actually be very helpful in the wider world. I mean, with media, it does teach you a lot about camera techniques and things like that. But as I was looking through, it was a lot more to do with big production media things that I would be learning about the terminology on film sets and things that would be helpful there, but not necessarily helpful for my business. So I wasn't like drawn to that in aspect. Yeah.
If we flipped it around and we looked at the skills and knowledge and the experience that you're gaining from having your own business, has any of that actually come back through into VCE and helped you answer questions or add a different point of view in some of your group discussions or anything like that? As a flip side?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that too much. I think for me it's a lot more to do with the interpersonal skills and things like that play a big part. So I noticed that more into my schooling areas, and contacting teachers on the phone is not necessarily that fun, but having that kind of experience with like person-to-person things and being really clear in communication and things like that you would learn, that I find that to be really improved through starting a business. But for the actual educational stuff, I don't think it has necessarily benefited anymore. I'd love to say that it has. I guess the organization of starting a business has also really helped with homeschool and things like that. I also love the fact that I can fit in my business hours sort of around about where I put into my school time and things like that. The flexibility of homeschooling really helped my flexibility of starting a business. I don't think I would be able to keep it up in a mainstream school. So that was really cool too.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, so the $1 million question. What's the business called? Because we want to plug you.
Rose Gold Media. Rose
Gold Media. There you go, folks at home. Check it out. If you had some advice, so there are VCE students that probably have this little idea or a little voice in their head kicking around saying that they want to do something, or they should try this. Yeah. From a business perspective, you've shown that it's possible. Yeah. Which is fantastic. But what's probably your one bit of advice to get people from the I think I could do this to now actually taking steps to realize it?
Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot I could say, so I've got to try and think of the best thing. I guess, I mean, if there's something that you love, and if you want something, you can make it happen. I know like the strength of having inner motivation is really strong. And so I guess my biggest thing is to jump in and to do it. You can think about it for ages and not do anything, and you probably won't learn anything more. You could do as much research as you want, but as soon as you've got your hands on a camera and you're trying to get couples to use your business and to interact with you or to do the best day on the job, you can only do that through practice and trying. So yeah, my thing would be to do it. And if it's for friends or family, getting people to try things, do it for free, see what you want. I did freelance work just through a site called Airtasker, doing corporate video things at the beginning, and I learnt that I did not like working for businesses, whereas working for couples who have their one special day and they want it to be great, and they're not as critical to do with making sure that they get the most value for money for their business and getting their business the best things. I found I prefer to work for that. Other people love working in corporate video. So it's, you don't figure that out until you try. That would be my thing.
So have a crack.
Have a crack.
So pull the trigger.
Do it.
Have a crack. Just do it. Just like Nike. Just like Nike did.
Yeah.
Jessie, I'm so privileged to be part of the cheat sheet and to sit in on the interviews and obviously get a chance to have a chat to you guys as well. And I can safely say that if I had some of the ideas, the passion, the drive that you're exhibiting at your age, when I was your age, I tell you what, the story could be completely different. But I think
gingerbread would be a big thing now.
Gingerbread houses would be mainstream in every house, in every universe. But I think the main thing is that those of you listening at home, wow, what a fantastic interview, both with Monique, and then the business side of things with me. But Jessie, thank you so much for being a part of it, and letting us into a little bit of a snippet of your life and your journey at the moment. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
Guys, if you enjoyed that, check out the cheat sheet at the cheat sheet, www.thecheatSheet.net.au/Jessie, JESSIE, where we'll chuck up the cheat sheet with all of the show notes and links to Rose Gold Media and all other things that Jessie has spoken about from a mental health perspective, distance education, and the like. We'll see you at the next episode.
Like this episode? Head to thecheatsheet.net.au for show notes, real-life cheat sheets, and links to our social media pages. Thanks for listening.